Interesting.
And all of that came due to the like that confusion, perhaps came of a language issue, which philosophy like would never be complete because of language, and something related to that I'm curious to hear what you would think is that like Marshall McLuhan said once, we shape our tools and the tool shape us back. How do you, so in your life could be described as you created your own tools so you can augment your intellect, which is kind of similar to Engelbert had you know envisioned. When you look back 50 years back, you created all these tools. How do you think these tools have you know
No, they define how I think about stuff. If it wasn't for these, if it wasn't for Wolfram Language, I would not be able to think about things computationally in the way that I can. And the physics project, for example, would not exist. Lots of things would be different. I mean, this is the way that tools, language. These are the ways that one sort of concentrates thoughts so that one can build on them.
Mm.
I mean, that is the people. With human languages, people sort of wonder, does it matter what human language you speak, how you think about things? It probably does a little bit, but it's not a dramatic effect. With, in the world of computational language, it's a dramatic effect. Like you can see people, who can think using, Wolfram language or whatever. You can think about how to set things up, and you think, how do I make this computational? This is a way of concretifying those thoughts, which I don't think would be easy to do without that. I don't think you would be able to, I don't think you would conceptualize those kinds of things. Just as it's pretty hard to think about things for which there are no words in a human language. And it's, yes, so the answer is, I think that, the tool building is absolutely critical to, things I've done. And, there's been this sort of spiral of do basic science, use that to build tools and technology, use the technology and tools to do basic science. I've sort of executed about 5 loops around the spiral, so to speak. And that's, another thing to comment on in the world of sort of studenting and things like that is it is shocking how much people don't use the tools they can use. It's just like, when I started, doing physics and things, I started using computers to do sort of algebraic calculations and so on. And, there were experimental systems for doing this. It was not undoable, but nobody else did this. And it was just like, why is nobody else doing this? This is not that hard. And it's you had to know a little bit about computers and things. And, your average physicist might not have known that, but physicists tend to be an agile lot and they can learn all kinds of things. But it was sort of shocking to me, and it is today. I mean, in our sort of computational language stack, there are plenty of people who use it. There are plenty of people who are sort of leaders in their fields who use it. And there are lots of people who aren't leaders in their fields often, who are like, oh, no, I don't use that. I don't need to use that. I'm just doing this, and I don't really need that. It's like, why are you doing this? You just tied both hands behind your back. You're not, it will be really difficult for you to achieve things that way. But for some reason, people, I think, I don't know what it is. It's a sort of strange trait of, oh, I'm not going to actually learn tools. Maybe it's the same thing as people who do a class about something and then are completely unable to apply that class. Mm. And so it's kind of like, this tool is for the purpose of being applied. And somehow, unless I just do a class to learn this tool and then I'm just going to do that in that class and that's the end of it and I can't apply it. And maybe it's the same phenomenon, I don't know. But, it's certainly something, I see in the, I somewhat, I quite often describe technology we built as kind of artifacts from the future, in the sense that it's things that, if you ask people, could this be done? It's like, is this in principle? I'll say, yes, it's in principle possible. Well, actually, we've done that, and it's like, but that really seemed like it was something that should happen only in the distant future, so to speak. And it's one of the things I kind of like it, where this week is our annual technology conference, so a bunch of our sort of leading users and so on show up, and it's the first one in person in a couple of years. So we'll see who actually comes. But I think the thing that's that's interesting there, I see these people who have sort of grabbed this artifact from the future, brought it into the current time in their field, whatever it is, and it's like they got the extraterrestrial technology boost, so to speak. They're able to do things that other people in their field can't do, and they're like, oh wow, you can do this, and it's like, look, they're just using this artifact from the future, so to speak, that we happen to have built now, and I think it's cool to see that, because it's something where people can just do things that seemed like they would be, that may seem to other people in those fields that were impossible. And I'm sort of shocked to that, because I've been looking at some personal history of mine to do with thermodynamics and so on. I'm reminded again of this craziness that I've done this many times, of just taking tools from somewhere, using them in something, and it's like, why did nobody else do this? This is not hard. This is not, it doesn't require a great cognitive leap to see that this is possible, but people just don't do it, and I don't really know why. And but yes, the certainly for me, I have built tools that are sort of machinery for making things that I want to do be possible. And then in the end, there are so many things, as this tower has gotten built, there are many things. There's no way I could have seen, from the bottom of the building process, there's no way I could have seen what I can now see from where we are in the tower. Now, in terms of building machinery and tools, I mean, for me personally, I built a bunch of technology. I've also built company, and company is in a sense a different kind of tool, a different kind of machine for going from ideas one has to real things in the world. And it's a different, it's not something where it's a transferable, anybody can just get this, can download this bag of bits and run it themselves type thing. It's a different kind of thing, but it is the same, perhaps the same instinct for me of, you build a tool that allows you to do things. And sometimes that's a technological tool, sometimes that's an